Football, the legendary coach who made Ronaldo unstoppable and dominated world football. Episode 31. Before the start of the match, there was a meeting ceremony for the new manager and the fans. Originally, according to the meaning of Sandesi, this thing did not need to be done, because everyone felt at the beginning that engaging in this kind of thing in the case of 2 consecutive defeats was to make 70,000 or 80,000 people scold Liu Yi. Unexpectedly, this kid did not play cards according to common sense, but actually won 2 big games in a row, scored a total of 12 goals, did not lose a single goal, and the spirit of the team returned. Now it is necessary to hold a ceremony to let the manager and the fans have a good interaction and save a wave of relationships with the fans. Lord Fu, who was originally very dissatisfied with Liu Yi, also decided to participate in the ceremony to cheer for the new manager and also show his support for the club. 10 minutes before the start of the game, the warm-up players on the pitch came to the sidelines and stood in 2 rows left and right, and Lord Ferguson and Santoku came to the court from the audience. The cheers of the whole audience suddenly surged like waves, and the mountains roared and the tsunami rose up in the sky. Santoku and Lord Fu made a brief speech, and the voice of the on-site commentator sounded. "Let's welcome the new boss of the Red Devils, Liu Yi, the Demon King, from the Dragon Kingdom." At first, there was only one area clapping, but slowly the number of applause was increasing, and the cheers were getting higher and higher, and the wind and clouds were surging straight into the sky. Liu Yi, dressed in a black Zhongshan suit, trotted out of the players' passage, and kept high fives from the players on both sides along the way, and finally came to Lord Fu and Sandesi and shook hands with the two. "Little fellow, 2 words for everyone." Lord Fu smiled and handed the microphone to Liu Yi's hand, and then took the lead and began to applaud. Naturally it was a thunderous applause, which made Liu Yi's blood boil and his heart swelled. In the previous 2 games, Liu Yi led the team to play away, and all that came into the ears were the cheers and insults of the opponent's fans, where there would be a little good feeling. Now it's different. His own home stadium, more than 70,000 Manchester United fans, are applauding him and making a voice of support. Even most United fans still don't trust him, but at their own home, it is not difficult to give their applause and support to a coach who has already won 2 big games. "It's a pleasure to meet you, I can't wait for a long time." Liu Yi shouted in English and waved his hand around, and the fans responded to him with crazy shouts and applause. In the beginning, maybe everyone was asking, "Who is this boy?" Liu Yi said and pointed to himself, and the scene emitted a cooperative laugh. "But now some people know me, some people will slowly get to know me, but it doesn't matter, I'm standing here, I'm Manchester United manager, I'm going to lead Manchester United back to the throne, starting from this game." Zhang in confident speech made people who liked him more and more, and those who thought he was bragging were even a little disgusted in their hearts. Of course, there are many more people who are worried about him. In the Dragon Kingdom live broadcast room, Zhang Jun rubbed his hands, and the smile on his face turned into uneasiness. After all, Guardiola is too strong, and his Manchester City is also strong and terrible. Liu Yi's words are a bit full. Once this game can't be taken down, it will be trouble. Zhang Ji had a different opinion, and after he "I don't think so, young people just have to show off, look at the fans on the spot, and absolutely support Liu Yi." Liu Yi's speech was not finished, and it was only when the applause and shouts stopped. "I will give victory and joy to all Manchester United fans, I will leave the glory and laurels at Old Trafford, the skies of Manchester are a little bit blue, I don't like the rain, but the hearts of the people of Manchester will always be red. Oh. Oh 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 oh." The scene was again a burst of applause and shouting, and the fans gave Liu Yi the most enthusiastic report, and when the game was won, they would fully accept this rookie coach, the Demon King of Manchester United. Old Trafford lid DJ Taylor, can't help but also began to shout, shouting and saying to colleagues, "Hi West, I'm starting to like this boy. God bless him to win this game, I will be his #1 fan." After the welcome ceremony, Liu Yi returned to the locker room to make the final arrangements. The players stood up and applauded him and congratulated him. Before it was the away team locker room, everyone did not behave too much. "Guys, I've just let out my harsh words, I hope you don't let me down." Ronaldo's loyalty has reached 17 points, and his status in the locker room is also high, taking the lead and standing up to show his attitude. "Rest assured, sir, I am willing to do everything for you." "Very good," Liu Yi nodded satisfactorily. "See, Luo is such a person, he will not let his supporters down. For his opponents, of course, no one will care. In C. Luo's heart, Liu Yi is his own person, his brother-like relative. God is on top and I am willing to give my life for you." Fred pressed one hand to his chest, his face full of respect and seriousness. The other players also stood up one by one, against Manchester City, which did not have to cheer the players up, not to mention that before the start of the game, all kinds of media and the internet devalued them, and everyone was full of anger. Very good, then I start announcing the starting list. One by one, the names spat out from Liu Yi's mouth. Most people knew it, only a few people were a little stunned, but Liu Yi also gave an explanation. Now let's shout our own slogan. Attack harder, advance more cool. Everyone waved their arms in unison and shouted 3 times. Go, leave the victory at Old Trafford, leave the honor and the joy to the fans, let the opponent leave with the defeat. Liu Yi pulled open the door of the locker room and waved his hand outside. Episode 32. When I saw the starting list, all the commentators were slightly stunned. In the Longwell live broadcast room, Zhang Jun and Zhang Ji looked at each other. Zhang Jun, Liu Yi is very bold, he actually took down Maguire, this is Manchester United captain. Zhang guided, hey, Maguire has been in bad shape before, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did not dare to let him rest, now Liu Yi dares to take down Maguire, let Varane and Lindelof start together, this alone is stronger than the predecessor, courage is also part of football. There is no doubt that this is the new way of blowing. After director Zhang finished speaking, there was a lot of joy inside the bullet screen. Worthy of Zhang Guide, the angle is tricky. I couldn't have imagined that I would worship Zhang Guide. If Liu Yi loses this game, the pressure will be even greater. Manchester United lined up in a diamond-shaped 4-4-2, with Varane and Lindelof joining forces as centre-backs, Wan-Bissaka on the right, Luke Shaw on the left, and De Gea behind them. In front of them is Fred who is retiring, Pogba on the left, Sancho on the right, front BF, top in front. Cadezzo, see Ronaldo location is more flexible. Only a fool would fix such a player who is a threat in any position somewhere. Especially some people, they actually want C. Luo and the other defender to fight hard, and the brain is completely sick. Very bold starter, this is going to attack out. Look at the midfielders, in addition to Fred, the remaining 3 defensive abilities can only be said to be doing their best. Look across from Blue Moon Manchester City's midfielder, De Bruyne in World 1, strong contender Silva and Rodri in World 1, and England's popular fried chicken Phil Foden. Liu Yi did not shake hands with Guardiola, of course, the other party did not mean this. Both of them held their hands on their chests and looked at the court in front of them, and Guardiola didn't know what Liu Yi thought, anyway, he was just trying to pretend. With the referee's whistle, the game officially began. In the Longwell live broadcast room, Zhang Jun and Zhang guide into the working state. Hello everyone, welcome to the 2021-2022 season, the 11th round of the Premier League. Manchester United host Manchester City's Manchester Derby, Zhang Jun and Zhang guide to send you a commentary. This is also our Liu Yi, the first time and the world-famous Marshall put right, I wish him good luck, he. The game had just begun, with City taking the lead and attacking and Bernardo Silva taking the ball on the right, making a couple of fake moves before shooting high over the crossbar, giving Manchester United a knock on the mountain and shocking De Gea into a cold sweat. The camera fell on Liu Yi in time, wanting to see if the rookie manager had been frightened or was doing a clown show. Unfortunately, they were disappointed, and Liu Yi waved his hand forward, signaling the team to attack. De Gea had a big foot, passed the ball directly to the front, and Cristiano Ronaldo rushed ahead of Stones and gave the top of the ball to B. The moment Buffet took the ball, he instinctively wanted to kick the ball, pass the ball to the front, and use the pass to direct other players to run, but immediately thought of the coach's instructions. Don't worry, find the right time to pass again. Just as he thought about it a little more, Rodri next to him rushed over and took the ball under his feet. But Fred had noticed this long ago, and rushed up in 3 steps and 2 steps, controlling the ball under his feet, and Rodri hit Fred with his body, directly taking one of his toes and almost falling. Fred passed the ball to Pogba, who had already figured out the development route, and did not wait for the football to stop, volleying to Cavani who was leaning over. Cavani slammed the ball on his heel to B, who didn't waste an opportunity this time, making a straight move that shook Stones and passed it to Sancho on the plug. Sancho did not hesitate to cross with a kick, and Cavani missed a ball in the middle of the road, directly leaving Manchester City's penalty area in chaos, and Cristiano Ronaldo at the back point pulled out his foot and shot furiously. In this case, the probability of Ronaldo shooting is too small. Goal. The goal was scored by Cristiano Ronaldo. The DJs on the scene roared madly, tens of thousands of fans cheered and celebrated, and Liu Yi, who was standing on the sidelines, waved his fists and interacted with the substitutes around him. The cooperation of the clouds and the flowing water, without any unnecessary action, any one person is indispensable, and finally by Si Luo to hammer the final tone, the ball scored. Although Si Luo stood up, I have to praise Liu Yi. From this ball and the goals in the previous 2 games, you can see some of Liu Yi's offensive ideas, not to sound as already a blockbuster, hee. In the live broadcast room of the Dragon Kingdom, Zhang Jun and Zhang Ji were full of smiles and very happy. After the celebration, Liu Yi looked at Pep Guardiola not far away, roaring at the defender, obviously very unhappy with the goal. But that's just the beginning, and you're old enough to suffer. Perhaps sensing Liu Yi's gaze, Guardiola snorted coldly and turned his head to whisper to the assistant coach. At this time, just the 5th minute of the game, United's first attack, the first shot on goal scored a goal, but Manchester City did not panic, they quickly calmed down. Just 2 minutes later, City were still in color, and Cancelo on the left side of the bottom cross, perhaps because the training inertia of the predecessor was too strong, and Wan-Bissaka was actually recycled, which is not to blame him. Cancelo's low flat ball went straight to the United goal, and Lindelof lifted his foot to break the box, but the kick was deflected and the ball went towards the goal. Seeing that he was about to score, De Gea was already powerless, suddenly killed a person from the side, raised his foot to hook the football out of the goal line, and the barb was unblocked. After the break, everyone saw that it was Ronaldo, who rushed all the way back from the front court and protected his own goal. This is Ronaldo, a strong desire to win, let him continue to fight on the field, pay everything for victory. Manchester United fans began singing Viva Ronaldo, calling for the king and hero who belonged to Manchester United. Si Luo was shocked in his heart, he just chased back because Liu Yi said a word in his ear before he played. Cristiano, Manchester City will be very threatening in the 7 minutes or so, come back to help the team defend. As he ran forward, he looked at the roaring coach on the sidelines. A thought popped into Luo's mind, is he a god who can predict the future? Episode 33. The game continues. If Liu Yi can enter the game at this time, he will find that Si Luo's loyalty has reached 18 points, and the distance is only 2 points. Liu Yi's face was full of confidence, and compared with the roaring anger of Guardiola next door, he was particularly handsome. In particular, a thick black hair is estimated to make Guardiola jealous and crazy. The 2 sides come and go on the pitch. Manchester United not only advanced the goal, but also did not fall behind on the scene, but also let people who can understand all this feel that Manchester United, the head coach, is definitely not simple. Most teams, after the new coach takes office, can get a certain degree of explosion, but this outbreak is limited, and the content of the usual training can still be seen. Now the team under Liu Yi has no shadow of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's before, and it seems that he has easily transformed it. In the Longwa live broadcast room, Zhang Jun and Zhang Ji touted Liu Yi a lot. After all, they were their own people. Let's just say that let be stay stable, don't easily lose the ball this matter. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not solved it for 2 years, Liu Yi has handled these games perfectly, whether it is means or ability. Manchester United's gang of arrogant generals, half of the people cannot be stopped. If Liu Yi did not have some skills, Maguire estimated to have left a long time ago, and now he is sitting quietly under the field, hee. For the Manchester United fans of Longwa, it is simply a great happiness, listening to the narrator's praise for Liu Yi. The gift is a brush without money. 20 minutes later, both sides have each had 5 shots on goal, which shows the excitement of this game. Pep Guardiola has been watching in the first half of why this Manchester United will transform in a short period of time, and the most important thing besides the head coach is what? Now he has a clue, but he doesn't fully see it. It should be a change from someone in midfield. At first, he thought it was ABF, but now he is a little unsure, because Fred's performance today gave him the feeling of encountering the canter of Chelsea. In the 26th minute, United took the ball in front of the field and Pogba passed the ball to Buffet from the bag of 3 people. The beefy was passed directly to Luke Shaw, who was plugged in, and the two collided with the wall to cooperate, and the football came to Luke Shaw's feet again. In this area, Luke Shaw will never have a problem, not to mention that the closest Manchester City players to him are now 3 meters away and do not hesitate to start crossing. Liu Yi suddenly raised his fist and waved it vigorously. Inside the penalty area, Cavani pressed forward, Sancho pulled back, Buffet greeted Luke Shaw to pick up, and Manchester City's defensive formation was once again directly pulled apart. The real threat of Ronaldo slightly stepped back 2 steps, defending his stones 1 inattentive. Ronaldo greeted the ball, volleyed angrily, and the ball turned into a white light, passed through Ederson's hands, and landed in the goal behind him. Liu Yi held 2 fingers aloft and turned around in place, and the camera fell on him in time. Manchester United players rushed up to celebrate with Ronaldo, and the rest of the people looked at Liu Yi, only admiration and shock in their hearts. See, Ronaldo's strength is very strong, but the coach who can make him play like this, there are probably few in the world today. The most important thing is that almost everyone in the Manchester United team now has the opportunity to play, and the performance is also good, and the atmosphere is surprisingly good. Bailey, who is sitting on the bench, is even more uneasy. He submitted a transfer application before. Is it too late to withdraw now? Maguire, who was also sitting on the bench, was ready to make some small moves after the game to express his dissatisfaction. But at this moment, the idea has been completely dispelled. If this Ronaldo really staged a hat-trick, the team won a big victory over Manchester City, he wants to go out and say that Liu Yi's is not good, can only add trouble to himself. He has not performed well during this time. Manchester United fans will not support him, and he also knows that his captain is not righteous, and there are many people in the team who are not convinced of him. Leave the soldiers still for the time being, there will always be a chance to shoot themselves, Maguire thought to herself. Manchester City, a team, is confident and mature enough. Even if they lose 2 goals, they are still not chaotic, they are not panicked, they believe in their own strength and the level of coaching. And immediately, with a wave of attack, the momentum of Manchester United backed down. From the 27th minute to the 38th minute, Manchester United may be a little lax. Manchester City continued to get shooting opportunities. De Gea kept roaring and made several saves in a row. Liu Yi on the sidelines was also a little depressed. No one wanted to see his team being pressed, and immediately stood up from the sidelines, turned back, and Beckett, Lingard and Van der Beek, McTominay and these people to warm up. Seeing that the time was almost up, he immediately shouted a few voices to the field. Paul, Pogba, if you don't play the ball crisply and neatly, Lao Tzu will replace you. Jadon, Sancho, is the ball stuck to your feet, you have to take a few strokes to kick out? Aaron, Wan-Bissaka, you give me up, what about your tackle, what are you afraid of? Victor, Lindelof, take care to protect Aaron. After a few moments of shouting and seeing if it was 39 minutes and everything was just right, Cavani went back to midfield to get the ball and pass it to Sancho on the right. Sancho, who was scolded, did not dare to take more, and directly passed the ball to Buffet, who took a step forward and passed the ball to Cavani behind him, and Cavani passed to Ronaldo, who rushed from the right. The angle is already very small, and the other players should be crossing, or inverted triangle passes, allowing teammates to shoot. But he's Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players on the planet, with 100% confidence in his footwork and ability. On the sidelines, Liu Yi has rushed towards the corner flag and he wants to celebrate the goal with everyone. The sound of the live DJs and the cheers of the Manchester United fans converged. Goal. The goal was Cristiano Ronaldo. The fans echoed loudly together. The Manchester City players were finally a little dazed, and they looked to the sidelines, hoping that Guardiola would give them some guidance. Pep Guardiola looked at the celebrating United players on the pitch with some bewilderment, completely unaware of why his team was 3 goals behind when everything was normal. Li Tai left class, it was really enough. Every time the Chinese team was ready to defend, he knew that he would not be able to hold it, and sure enough. Episode 34. On the sidelines, Liu Yi slid with a kneeling and rushed over to see Luo. As a result, he did not practice on his knees, and almost fell to the ground, but fortunately, Luo slid over. The two roared with fists facing each other, frantically celebrating. The United players behind them, one after another, rushed over, even the bench was no exception, surrounded by 2 people, waving their fists and constantly roaring. DJ Taylor on the scene made a joke. It seems that our Liu has never practiced kneeling, and he turned around and let people teach him well. His voice trembled as he spoke, and his eyes were slightly reddened, but he soon couldn't control his emotions. How long has it been since I seen such a united, so positive and brave Manchester United? West spoke as well. I seem to have returned to more than 10 years ago, but the little brother Luo at that time has become the big brother of this team. Luo and Liu Yi were surrounded by players, and everyone kept slapping each other and cheering. The game is not over yet, we have to continue to attack and stay focused. Liu Yi roared angrily in the crowd, and the players responded one after another. The fans responded with thunderous applause and shouts, and the glorious song belonging to Manchester United resounded throughout the stadium. Everyone thinks we're going to lose. Everyone thinks we are inferior to our opponents. Everyone thinks that we can't do this. Everyone thinks Manchester United are high-paid and low-energy players. See, now Lao Tzu is in the first half, 3 goals ahead of Manchester City, which is favored by countless people. Go fucking questioning and mockery. From now on, the Masters will use one victory after another to attack the throne of champions. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea in front of you, don't worry, the game officially begins. The game continued. Liu Yi returned to his position, and suddenly ran down from the sideline of the field. A blonde beauty girl rushed directly to his side. Before Liu Yi could react, he had already kissed him the face. "Liu, I love you, and I am willing to give everything for you." The fierce and vicious security guard had already rushed up and rudely pulled the girl out. Liu Yi quickly reached out to block it, and shouted in his heart, female do not need to block, beautiful women do not need to be stopped." Personally handing the beautiful woman to the sidelines, Liu Yi smiled and said, "Be careful." The live camera presented all this to the audience in its entirety, triggering cheers and applause at the scene. In the live broadcast room of the Dragon Kingdom, Zhang Jun and Zhang Ji were also in a good mood. It seems that our Liu Yi is still a person who is cruel to his opponents and warm to his own people. Such a character has great benefits for showing the style of our country and letting foreigners better understand our country. The two chatted, and even sublimated the height. The first half, ending with one of Sancho's shot deflected off goal, Pep Guardiola had returned to the dressing room early and the City players left the pitch as if fleeing. Only De Bruyne waited for Cristiano Ronaldo in the player tunnel and made an appointment with him to change his shirt after the game. After all, everyone knows that De Bruyne is very fond of C. Ronaldo, and has said publicly more than once that he wants to play with C. Ronaldo. Even at the last minute of the last transfer window, Manchester City tried to bring in Ronaldo, but when the phone call was made, Manchester City had no chance. In the Manchester United home team dressing room, everyone was very happy. Pogba even opened his voice and sang a few words. Lingard showed everyone a paragraph, what is called the Dance King style. However, as Liu Yi opened the door and came in, everyone was quiet and set their eyes on the coach, which allowed everyone to play their own level and let C. Luo perform 3 hat-tricks. This is definitely not something that an ordinary manager can do, but his own rookie coach has done it. C. Luo has been completely satisfied at this moment. He has never played so comfortably in his life, and he has also scored 3 hat-tricks in a row before, but that is another national team, and the club is still the first time. And the previous hat-tricks were all played to death, where like now, it feels like everything is coming naturally. 20 points full of loyalty, send Liu Yi. The game is not over, now is not the time to celebrate. In the second half we have to continue to work hard and use the attack to beat the opponent's attack back. Manchester City players are already a bit at a loss, but don't underestimate them. Guardiola is one of the strongest managers in the world, he will find a way. Once we are overwhelmed, don't forget the former Milan and Liverpool, and in the future we will be nailed to the pillar of shame for people to repeat over and over again. The players who had just made a fuss bowed their heads one by one with some shame. Pogba took the initiative to stand up and apologized to Liu Yi. "Sorry, sir." Liu Yi patted him on the shoulder. "As long as this player does not engage in moths, it is still very good, but it is not easy to surrender him. It's okay, wait until the whole game is over, celebrate together." A brief tactical arrangement. Although he already knew the result, he also needed to communicate it to the players and let them play according to their own will. In the stadium, Guan Xiaotong and Yang Tianbao, as well as Lu Han, are chatting. "Lu Han, aren't you an ambassador for Manchester United? How about we take a picture with Liu Yi and have a meal together when the game is over?" Looking at Liu Yi, who was in the stadium and in front of tens of thousands of people, he waved Feng Wei and acted arbitrarily. Yang Tianbao had some heart. Episode 35. In the Longwo live broadcast room, Zhang Jun and Zhang Ji appeared in front of everyone's eyes again. "Welcome back, now we start the second half of the game and there is no change in the personnel on both sides." Guardiola pulled Foden back into midfield, overthrew his previous 433, and became the same 442 as Liu Yi, but he stood in a parallel position. But on the Manchester United side, Jesse Lingard and Van der Beek, Greenwood and others have started to warm up on the sidelines and look ready to make a substitution. C. Luo scored a hat-trick in the first half, and Liu Yi should replace him and let him rest well. I have to say that C. Luo can't even take a break under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he can still get a break in the field of hat-trick in our hands Liu Yi, which is the level gap. 2 sentences of you, I a sentence, the situation on the field, to everyone to analyze the clear and clear. Inside Old Trafford, Liu Yi did not sit on the coach's seat, but chose to stand on the sidelines, watching his players, running on the field, attacking or defending. C. Luo may feel that he is about to take a break and start a large-scale running pressure in the front court. Cavani is naturally unambiguous, he is the most popular player for Manchester United, very professional and hardworking, and very popular with Manchester United fans. Minutes into the 52 minutes, City held the ball in steady control and kept going back and forth in midfield. Suddenly Silva kicked diagonally straight in. Foden faced Fred's defense, originally wanted a pass over the ball, did not expect that people could not pass. Fred, whom Foden had always looked down upon, actually took the ball at Ford's feet in a one-on-one head-to-head confrontation. Manchester United, who defended the formation, instantly made a forward gesture. Fred passed the ball to Pogba at the first time, and Pogba leaned on De Bruyne to pass the ball to B. C. Ronaldo came back to pick up. Buffet passed the ball to him. C. Ronaldo healed the ball and split the ball, turned around, and bypassed Silva, who was defending him. One kick over the top and sent the ball into City's penalty area. Cavani arrived, jumped high, and jacked the ball into City's goal. 4 o'clock. The Manchester City players, who had just recovered a little, finally began to panic, constantly looking at Pep Guardiola on the sidelines. Pep Guardiola has not lost 5 goals in his life, resolutely attacking and making a forward pressure gesture. Liu Yi looked at his gestures, and a smile immediately appeared on his face. Do you still want to press up and attack? Immediately make direct substitution instructions. Directly replace C. Ronaldo with Lingard. C. Luo walked off the field with a smile, clapped Lingard on the sidelines, hugged Liu Yi again, and patted Liu Yi's back hard. Another hat-trick. How does it feel like Cristiano? Thank you, boss. Hearing this, Liu Yi was in a good mood at once, knowing that before the Manchester United of Sir Fu, the players called the old lord the boss. C. Luo called himself so. There is no doubt that he is an absolute recognition of himself. Well, let's enjoy the other people's performances. Before waiting for 60 minutes, Liu Yi replaced Cavani with Greenwood, retracted Lingard from midfield, changed the 451, and instantly stabilized the situation in midfield. Originally prepared to go to Rashford, but after Rashford had a cold, his body had not fully recovered, and this counterattack weapon could only be used later. As soon as Greenwood came on the pitch, he got a good chance to shoot the ball off the field unattended. He lowered his head in embarrassment, and looked at the coach on the sidelines with some concern, but saw Liu Yi make a gesture to him to continue, and he was immediately relieved. Pep Guardiola is still directing the team, hoping to stabilize the team, but his arrangements in the second half did not work, making the players a little uncertain. Fred broke Foden's ball again, which made Fred Den a little annoyed, and he directly turned around and put his arm around Fred's neck and threw Fred to the ground. But before that, Fred passed the ball to Jesse Lingard, who took the ball forward and rushed forward. Buffet had already fastened forward. Jesse Lingard's straight plug found him accurately, and Buffet made a fake real pass to send the ball to Greenwood's feet. 45 degrees inside the penalty area, Greenwood pulled out his foot and fired furiously. Watching the ball go into the opposing goal, he waved his fist and ran to the sideline to celebrate. 5 o'clock. In the Longwell live broadcast room, Jean and Jean began to give fans popular science. In Guardiola's coaching career, the biggest loss was 0:4, and only 3 times. I didn't expect to meet Liu Yi the first time. I was broken his discipline. The point is that the game is only 70 minutes away. Manchester United still have enough time to continue to score, and Liu Yi does not seem to have any intention of sparing his men. After Greenwood scored, the Buffet for the assist was replaced and McTominay came on as a substitute. Relative to Buffet's defensive ability, McTominay is much stronger, and Pogba is pushed to the front and occupies the Buffet position. United's formation turned into Greenwood set in front. Behind him was Pogba, Lingard on the left, Sancho on the right, Fred and McTominay at the back. A formation that can attack and defend, and the defensive strength is greatly enhanced, but the attack is definitely not bad. Manchester City's players have lost their fighting spirit at all, and there are even a lot of unnecessary moves. Just when Foden put Fred down, he dodged a yellow card, or even a red card. Judging from the current situation, Manchester United is expected to continue to score goals. He. In the Longwell live broadcast room, Zhang Ji's hey laughter did not stop, and he saw Manchester United's attack and once again advanced to the 30 meters area of Manchester City. McTominay, who was dragging behind, suddenly heard the coach's voice in his ear. "Mike, go up." He used to be an early striker, all the way back in the back position, and even played at centre-back in the national team, but a fiery attacking player's heart is always burning. Originally, I stood in my position so that the coach could see his attitude, be absolutely obedient, absolutely obey the tactical arrangements, and prevent losing his position. Now that the coach lets you go up, that's naturally going to go up. Rushing through the half, just in time to see Jesse Lingard's cross from the left, the ball being punched out by Ederson's fist, and the Manchester City players had a huge hole in the offensive and defensive transitions. The football fell right in front of him, and there was nothing to think about at the moment, and he directly pulled out his foot and shot furiously. A white arc swept through the air, like a cannonball, into the goal behind Edson, and Edson, who had just risen from the ground, could not make any move. 6-0. The camera fell on Guardiola's body on the sidelines, the coach in his prime, his face was grey, and his eyes were full of confusion. The key is that the camera is clearly captured, and his hands are constantly shaking like Parkinson's. Episode 36. After 6 o'clock, Manchester City withdrew into the box and could not concede the ball again. United also did not have such a strong desire to attack, and the referee only gave a minute of stoppage time to blow the whistle of the end of the game. But Guardiola's trembling hands are bound to make headlines and show the world around. The live camera swept through the stands, and the Manchester City fans in the away stands at Old Trafford were already a few people left in the sparse stretch, and the rest had left the stadium early. They have never seen a club so humiliated by their nemesis, especially in the last decade. The new generation of fans, more in memory, is the suppression of the Red Devils by the Blue Moon, so they call Manchester United an old thing immersed in the past. And today, this old thing, suddenly burst out of a huge amount of energy, punched Manchester City directly to the ground. How can people bear it? In the Longwell live broadcast room, Jean June and Jean Coach were doing science popularization for the fans, talking about a past event. In the 2011 Champions League final, Manchester United once again encountered Barca, the six-time Barcelona of that year, showing a strong dominance. 3:1 Light Manchester United, the final scene of the old man chewed gum, trembling and clenching his fists, and today's Pep Guardiola is surprisingly similar. The Barcelona manager of that year is now Pep Guardiola. It's a pity that this game, but in the long season, a 3-point game, is not as important as the Champions League final, but it is also revenge. The Manchester United fans in the live broadcast room also showed great excitement, and for the old fans, a past that could not be looked back on. Reaching the Champions League final 3 times in 4 years and being beaten by Barca twice, it became the background board for the cosmos. In the repeated inventory and various football programs, it is important to come and go, so that Manchester United fans in front of the Barca fans always feel a little unable to lift their heads. What's even more doggy is that there are a bunch of fans who claim to be both Manchester United and Barca, which is really alive. Now, Liu Yi used a 6 o'clock, under the attention of more than 70,000 fans at home, so that Guardiola also fell into the same confusion and despair. At the end of the game, Liu Yi held his hands high, and the camera was spinning around him, just like King's Landing, really had some feeling of a demon king. Liu Yi found the old lord's position and gestured to him with a hard fist. There was no doubt that this was the best respect and gift for the old master. It seemed that the old lord and the others were smiling happily, constantly clapping, and stood up and waved at Liu Yi. Manchester United fans, who have not felt for a long time the desperate dominance of Manchester United in the game, is finally coming back at this moment. Liu Yi took the players around the field for a week and thanked the fans for their support. Fans chanted "Glory belongs to Manchester United" throughout the day. Glory belongs to Manchester United. Glory belongs to Manchester United. Glory belongs to Manchester United. The Red Devils go forward. Just like the kids of Busby used to be. We want the Red Devils flag to fly high. The media, big and small, were covering the game like crazy. No matter what the hot search of the platform community, almost all of them are occupied by Manchester United and Manchester City's same city derby, which would not have been so influential. But Guardiola's trembling hands on the sidelines remind people of that summer a decade ago, when Guardiola and his Barca were a feared side. People are always nostalgic creatures, and sometimes when they are young, they can remind people of the past, and then burst into tears. Not to mention, this kind of old Manchester United fans, the common memory, naturally creates a huge heat. Manchester United's official tweets and official blogs both posted the same content, simple copywriting. 10 years ago, 10 years later. Then accompanied by 2 pictures, the then Sir and now Pep Guardiola, and then the score of the 2 matches. In the following comments, the most liked one reached 300,000. Thank you Demon King Liu for the honor and happiness you have brought us. Countless Manchester United fans, who are usually low-key and silent, as well as neutral football fans, are commenting and forwarding, watching the reports and the analysis of the people involved. #Manchester United Revenge, Pep Guardiola, #Manchester Evening News. Hashtag Guardiola failed, Manchester United took the opponent. Hashtag Liverpool echo. Hashtag Cristiano Ronaldo breaks out again, the soon-to-be 37-year-old veteran still has a lot of energy. Hashtag Times. The streets of Manchester are full of the arrogant singing and shouting of Manchester United fans, which makes many Manchester City fans angrily call the police, which is particularly disturbing. If abroad, the focus of the report is on the memories of the two games and the fiasco of Pep Guardiola, then the domestic media coverage of the Dragon Kingdom is completely focused on Liu Yi. In particular, "You do not hold our people, we hold ourselves." Hashtag Dragon Man dominated Manchester Derby. Hashtag Sports Weekly. Stepped on his rival in the same city and officially ascended the throne. Hashtag Penguin Sports. Hashtag Only Liu Yi can save Manchester United. Hashtag Southern Sports. Hashtag Ronaldo's huge burst of energy, only because Liu Yi pointed out the party. Hashtag A certain ball emperor. What did hashtag Liu Yi do right in the derby? Hashtag A certain flutter. One report after another, occupying the public's attention, even if people who do not understand football, but also know a boy named Liu Yi, who has made great achievements abroad. The post-match interview is still ongoing, this time with Fred, the controversial Brazilian player, visibly very emotional. "It was Liu who brought me a new life, I am willing to give everything for him, as long as he lets me play, then I will climb up and climb up." Liu Yi also wanted to find a photo of the old melon, in the circle of friends to share it, did not expect that this old boy is not moral. The end of the game directly left, the interview is his assistant coach. Episode 37. Because it is the national team match day, Liu Yi is temporarily in a state of idleness. Of course, if he wants to do something, such as with the players who have not been selected for the national team, it is also okay to cultivate feelings. Inside the locker room, everyone celebrated happily. "In the evening, let's find a place to eat together, everyone is coming, you can bring your family together. Jesse helped me contact a suitable restaurant, remembering not to be too expensive, after all, I don't earn as much as you do." The crowd laughed again, and who wouldn't like a head coach who could get along with everyone and lead everyone to victory? Coach, guaranteed to complete the task. Lingard stood up strangely and made a military salute. C. Luo also stood up and made his attitude clear. "Boss, why don't I invite everyone to dinner, or you can invite you, and I can pay for it." Liu Yi's contract is not a secret, everyone knows how much money he can make, not to mention that it is less than 2 weeks. If it is not a winning bonus, I am afraid that the poor will have to eat. No, this time I invite everyone, as long as it is not too expensive, I can still afford it." When speaking, Liu Yi also looked at Lin Jiada, repeating the words that are not too expensive. "Rest assured boss, if you don't have money to eat, you can go to my house." Fred also followed Ronaldo to call the boss, which is an important tradition for Manchester United. Completely convinced and recognized, after so many years, only Sir Yi has this kind of treatment. Neither Morrison, Moyes, Chef Van Gaal, Magic Bird, Mourinho, nor Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was recently forcibly sent away by Liu Yi with a plug-in, did not have this treatment. Just before taking Ronaldo's luxury car home, Liu Yi received a call from Manchester United club management director Richard Arnold, that is, Erdezi. How cold it was before, how enthusiastic it is now. "Oh, dear Liu, congratulations on the bald man, you have taught Guardiola a hard lesson and won a big win for us Manchester United, God will always bless you, my friend." For Erdezi, Liu Yi had not dealt with anything, so he only showed a slight politeness. "Richard, is there anything you need help with?" "There is just one thing that needs your cooperation, there are some guests from Dragon Country, they are the promotion ambassadors of Manchester United Club, want to take a photo with you, talk about something, after all, you are all Dragon Country people." As soon as he heard about Manchester United's promotion ambassador, Liu Yi immediately thought that it should be Lu Han, a well-known small fresh meat in China. Personally, he had no interest in small fresh meat, nor was he cold. If there was anything else like Kuan Kuan Zhan, he directly refused, but he still had a good feeling for Lu Han. Lu Han is a real Manchester United fan and plays at a good level, so he is willing to meet him. Hanging up the phone, Liu Yi patted C. Luo with regret on his face. "Cristiano, it seems that there is no chance for you to be my driver today." C. Luo rolled his eyes, he himself is also very playful, often called Luo 3 years old by fans, as long as it is not the time to train, very good to get along with people. "If it doesn't take long, I can wait for you a little bit. Guests from the Dragon Kingdom should talk for a little longer, so you can go back and accompany your children." As Liu Yi got out of the car, he waved to C. Luo and went straight to Erdezi's office. The translator Miss Elena is also there, but it doesn't matter if she is not there, after all, Yang Tianbao Xiangjiang debuted, and she can still speak some spoken English. Saying something to each other that praises Liu Yi and praises Liu Yi can also be regarded as a happy and harmonious way. The moment Liu Yi entered the door, the people inside stood up in unison, and Erdezi, who was originally sitting in the innermost part, had already walked out with a meteor in a big stride, reaching out and hugging Liu Yi. "Liu, it's a pleasure to see you, thank you for giving us a great performance." Entering the local customs, the hug must be hugged. Elena also came up. "This figure is amazing. Let Guan Xiaotong are a little jealous, she is tall enough, but not strong enough." Lu Han and Guan Xiaotong are lovers, and they each choose to shake hands with Liu Yi. Just when Liu Yi was preparing to shake hands with Yang Tianbao, this beautiful star actually spread his arms and chose to hug. As a Manchester United fan, thank you for the joy you bring to the Manchester United fans. The hug time is a little longer, very testing Liu Yi, a single dog of more than 30 years, this is to torture people. After all, Yang Tianbao's acting skills are almost negative, but if you want to say that you have a figure and a modified appearance, it is a first-class level. Next is a group photo and adding contact information to each other. "Director Liu, let's have a meal together in the evening." After the group photo was completed, Lu Han proposed to invite guests, and Guan Xiaotong and Yang Tianbao naturally agreed with each other. Group photos or anything can be, but even if you eat, everyone is not so familiar. "I'm sorry, I've made an appointment with the players, let's have dinner together in the evening, and I'll have a treat next time you come." By adding contact information, Liu Yi soon saw the photos sent by the three people in the circle of friends. "Lu Han, I am very happy that Manchester United has won a big victory, thank you Director Liu for taking a photo with us in his busy schedule." Guan Xiaotong is also very bad, she herself has no interest in football, was taken into the pit by Lu Han, and now she is also half a Manchester United fan. The content sent by Yang Tianbao has some meaning. "It's great to see Manchester United beat Manchester City on the spot and meet a new friend at Liu Yi." The accompanying photo is a relatively intimate one, she has one hand around Liu Yi's arm, and her smile is like a flower. Anyway, he did not suffer a loss, Liu Yi should like it, comment on it, after all, it is his responsibility to bring happiness to Manchester United fans. Episode 38. In the evening, everyone had a happy meal together, and even drank a little wine, even si Ronaldo was no exception. After all, the scene of a big victory over a mortal enemy is not very common in a season. The only thing that makes Liu Yi a little uncomfortable is that almost all of them come with their girlfriends and wives, and the quality is above the standard. Fortunately, everyone noticed that he was behind this single body, so he did not do anything to abuse the dog. Si Luo's girlfriend Georgina also took the initiative to come up and toast Liu Yi with a glass of wine. "Liu, thank you for your help to Cristiano, our whole family is very grateful to you. As a coach, helping players perform better is my responsibility." It should be modest and modest, not to mention that after 3 big victories, Liu Yi no longer needs to brag to prove his level, modesty but makes people feel that he is bullish. Fred also brought his wife Salem over and toasted Liu Yi with a full cup. "Boss, you saved me and my career, thank you. Liu, Fred and I will pray for you, may God bless you." It was a very pleasant evening, everyone respected Liu Yi, but did not make the atmosphere dull, this large enough box, even singing and dancing. As dancers, Lingard and Pogba gave a wonderful performance for everyone. It's just that when Si Luo wanted to sing, he was embarrassed to stop it by Georgina, after all, it was convenient to sing, and Ronaldo was Luo's spicy ear. Liu Yi also at the instigation of everyone, 2 songs. Britain also has dragon songs, after all, the number of dragon people is large, which also alleviates Liu Yi's embarrassment, English songs he really can't. Milk Chaluans in the name of the father. There is also a song Love of a Life. Whether the singing is good or not, Liu Yi himself does not know, but all the players and their female companions have responded with the warmest applause, and it can be seen that they are real likes. After staying for a few hours, everyone scattered together, and Liu Yi continued to rub Si Luo's car home, mainly to save some money for others. The paparazzi and reporters who were guarding outside exposed the photos one after another, and Liu Yi's rubbing car was finally discovered. As Manchester United's head coach, even to rub other people's cars, is Manchester United so stingy? In the car, Si Luo suddenly asked Liu Yi. "Boss, you don't have an agent yet. Of course, you're going to recommend Mendes to me?" Liu Yi looked at Si Luo. "Jorge Mendes is a good agent, if you are interested, he will come and see you and you can talk." Si Luo did not think so, he felt that Mendes was indeed very good. Liu Yi thought about it, but finally nodded his head and agreed to meet with Mendes. In Liu Yi's heart, Mendes is also a good agent. See, Luo can grow to this point, and his help is not unrelated. The most important thing is that Mendes is not the kind of person who does not force his face for the sake of profit. Yes, this faceless person is Liu Yi's most hated football agent, with only eyes on money, Pogba, and Haaland, these people's agent Lyola. Back at home, Liu Yi took a shower, and then put on a nightgown, like a hound, patrolling the territory, and walked around the villa, which was too boring. Lying on the lounge chair by the pool, looking at the stars of Manchester for a while, I suddenly thought of my friends in China. If you are still in China, you should now drink and skewer with your friends on the street, or brush lamb, and the small hot pot has walked. In a daze for half a day, Liu Yi got up and returned to the bedroom and opened the notebook. Having won such a big victory today, I have not seen the reward given to me by the system, and I should not let myself down. Sure enough, a series of system prompts appeared on the screen. Congratulations to the host for his first home victory and a reward of 1% of Manchester United's stake. For this, Liu Yi has been able to do not be sad or happy. After all, the money is enough, and even has crossed the class into the rich class. The only thing that made him curious was whether the system would eventually reward Manchester United directly to himself, making the club his own private property. Congratulations to the host for winning the first same-city derby and rewarding Manchester United with 1% stake. Good fellow, now that he has 4% of Manchester United shares in his hands, he should belong to a small shareholder. In order to prevent any accidents, he will not move for the time being. Congratulations to the host's players, 3 consecutive hat tricks, rewarding an elite coach card, using this card to cultivate a loyal elite coach. Good fellow, this thing is really useful to himself. On the one hand, McNag has been driven away, Carrick is obviously incompetent, and Liu Yi has no intention of cultivating him. As for Mr. Ferrand, to tell the truth, his ability is like that, and he is already older. When this contract is over, Liu Yi has no intention of renewing his contract with them, so why should he go? The reputation value of the host exceeded 1 million, and the car company was rewarded with an endorsement. This has no explanation, probably the other party will take the initiative to find the door, did not expect that they can also earn endorsement fees, think about it and be happy. Congratulations to one of the host's full-value loyal players who is a historical supergiant, and the reward of 2 personal attribute points can change the host's physical condition. Lying in the groove, Liu Yi only had these 2 words in his heart. Directly click on your own attributes, and a plus sign appears behind the body data, indicating that it can be improved. Click on the attributes of Si Luo again, and sure enough, loyalty has reached a full value. This old guy is also quite easy to satisfy. Liu Yi touched his chin with some pride. Episode 39. After the incident, Liu Yi carefully looked at his personal attributes, all of which were body data. Stamina 9 points, which is considered to be the weaker of adults. Constitution 10 points, the level of ordinary people. Strength 10 points, the level of ordinary people. The speed is 11 points, and the average person is slightly stronger than 1 to lose. Balance 8 points, the average person is weaker. Flexible 9 points, the weaker of ordinary people. It seems that after graduating from college, the working career will completely cultivate itself into a sub-health. There is no major problem, but the body is definitely not good. There are only 2 points, and it feels like everything needs to be added, which makes Liu Yi a little difficult. After repeated hesitation, it is directly focused on physical strength. After all, he is a football coach, and sometimes he also needs a lot of exercise. The immediate effect, after adding points, Liu Yi felt that all day long, some tired bodies had recovered a little spirit. After sleeping until noon the next day, Liu Yi woke up confused, unless it was when he got up early to go to work, otherwise he would never get up early for breakfast. Ronaldo sent him a message saying that Mendes had arrived in Manchester and asked him when he would have time to meet and the 2 of them would have a conversation. Manchester, Liu Yi can't find anywhere, and he doesn't bother to go out shopping. It's still raining in the sky, it's cold outside. Just let Si Luo and Mendes come to the house, and remind Si Luo, by the way, help yourself bring a pizza, and have not eaten lunch yet. Rubbing more rice and giving others the opportunity to invite themselves to eat is also Liu Yi's money-saving tip. Last night, these beasts wasted their own more than 30,000 pounds, which can be exchanged for more than 200,000 yuan. Liu Yi's psychology is dripping blood. It seems that his dick mentality cannot change for a while. Yes, the doorbell rang. Ronaldo at the door carries 2 boxes of pizza in his hand, and some drinks and other things, and he tries not to eat these as much as possible, but there is nothing particular about coaching. Jorge, Liu is a very easygoing person, take it easy. Mendes nodded, not knowing why. He, a veteran of the battlefield, was a little nervous when it came time to meet the rookie coach of Manchester United. Not only some of himself, but even Ronaldo was surprised. Mendes is not someone who has never seen the world. Immediately Mendes felt why Luo said that Liu Yi was an easygoing person. Liu Yi, who had just taken a shower, appeared in front of the two people wearing a bathrobe like that, and his wet hair did not blow a bit. Just sit down, I'll clean up a little bit and come out right away. In line with the principle that he is not embarrassed, it is embarrassing to others, Liu Yi casually put the two people in, and then ran to the bathroom to blow his hair. Ronaldo and Mendes looked at each other, and sure enough, they were an interesting person. A few minutes later, Liu Yi appeared in front of the two and simply cleaned up the image, but he still had the bathrobe on his body, and he had no intention of changing. Simply sit in front of the two and reach out to open the pizza that Luo brought. Let's not eat and don't say, we are all friends, don't see outside. Liu Yi, who had long been hungry, said while holding up a piece of pizza with his hand and biting it fiercely, which was comfortable. Liu, I'm Jorge Mendes. Mendes solemnly introduced himself. I know, let's not come to these virtual ones, talk about your requirements and what you can do for me. Mendes smiled awkwardly, but quickly adjusted his mentality. Liu Yi is indeed a very easygoing person, unlike many people who are very defensive. In fact, Ludo's coaching system is in the body, let alone Mendes. Even if 007 stands here, the psychology will not be half panicked. Mendes is prepared. Liu Yi wants to know the content, a brain poured out, the cost and Ronaldo are the lowest grade. Liu Yi also asked a few questions of his concern, and after getting a satisfactory answer, he simply agreed. Jorge, I agree in principle that you will be my agent, but I hope you get a contract and I will ask someone to help me see it. After all, this thing is not professional. That's the way it should be. I've got a written version here and an electronic version, and I'll send it to you in the mailbox later. Jorge was relieved. He was really worried that Liu Yi would refuse. After all, everyone can see that this is a rising star in the coaching world, and he will achieve more than Jose Mourinho. The other problem is that you need to find an agent in Dragon Country. Huh? Liu Yi looked up at Mendes with some doubt, which meant several things. I have no business in Dragon Country, and I am not familiar with Dragon Country, so I can only be responsible for unexpected things in your Dragon Country. Mendes was a little embarrassed, and he also realized that Liu Yi really did not understand this, and quickly explained it. There is no big package. Liu Yi feels very satisfied. This old door is a sincere person. After Mendes and Luo left, Liu Yi simply cleaned up, stuffed the unfinished food into the refrigerator, and dinner was also available. Although he has money now, he doesn't know anything in Manchester and can't play at all. Should I find a personal companion or a personal assistant? Is it to find a Dragon Country beauty? Or an exotic girl? Just when Liu Yi was thinking wildly, the mobile phone rang and looked at it to see that it was Sandesi calling. Hi, my dear Liu, do you have time to visit the office? There are several VIPs from the Dragon Kingdom who want to meet you. A guest of honor in the Dragon Kingdom? Since it was Sandesi who personally received them, it means that it is not Luhan. They should be people with some status and status. Could it be that the system rewards its own car contract endorsement? For the sake of money, Liu Yi packed up his image, handed over a taxi, and went straight to the Carrington base. Episode 40. Originally, Liu Yi was still wondering which domestic car to find his own endorsement. Electric vehicle brand is still a little interesting, traditional fuel vehicles will be embarrassing. This is not a matter of money or money. In case your grade cannot be raised, other endorsements will not be easy to talk about in the future. Fortunately, the system will not disappoint. When the three guests said their identities, Liu Yi only had surprises in his heart, and at the same time, his heart landed. Good guidance, Liu. I am the CEO of Longhua FAW Group, Wang Junming. A middle-aged man in his 50s smiled and held out his hand to Liu Yi. It turned out to be the top management of Longhua FAW, and what Liu Yi wanted to endorse was also the top luxury car Longji brand in Longhua. Director Liu has contributed to our Dragon Kingdom abroad, and there is not even a scooter, so we have decided to invite you to become our spokesperson, mainly Dragon Banner H9 and H9 Plus. So far, Longji cars at home and abroad only the low-end H5 has a spokesperson, and nothing else. H9 and H9 Plus all the colors we have prepared for Liu guidance. I hope you can like this gift. There is a top L5, you need to choose your own, we will customize it for you. There is no doubt that the generous shot of the Dragon Banner side also made Liu Yi feel the sincerity of the other party. In principle, I agree to cooperate with Longji, and we will talk about the specific details slowly. Liu Yi did not directly agree to it, after all, endorsement of this kind of thing, but also to sign a contract. There are also a lot of details. What do you need to pay and what do you get? This is not a difficult thing, especially in the case of the two sides having affection and the concubine intentional. It is much easier to go in both directions. The two sides spent an afternoon finalizing the contract. It's about $10 million for 2 years, and in the case of an important title, there will be a lot of rewards, such as $2 million for the Premier League title and $3 million for the Champions League. After the incident, the two sides directly signed the contract. Liu Yi only needs to shoot 2 promotional videos for Longqi every year when he has free time, and attend important activities. It was already more than 1 a.m. in the Dragon Kingdom, and the Dragon flag officer still couldn't wait to announce the news. Ruling the era, harnessing the future, Dragon banner and Manchester United manager Liu Yi reached a cooperation and spread flowers. Then there is the scene where Liu Yi signs the contract, and he also gives a thumbs up to the camera. 1,000 layers of waves were stirred up for a while, and I don't know how many night owls who did not sleep were directly blown out. Lying in the groove, Liu Yi led the team to play 3 games, and he received the endorsement contract of Longqi. I see that this is Longqi picking up a bargain. According to the current rhythm, Liu Yi's endorsement contract, I'm afraid it will be a sky-high price. Shot fast and accurate, no wonder the development of the Dragon banner has become better and better in recent years. In any case, after Liu Yi signed the contract, there were tens of millions of RMBs in the account, and Longqi was originally ready to pay in US dollars, but Liu Yi refused. He is not short of money abroad now, and he will return to China to spend money in the future. In exchange for trouble, it is better to directly settle with RMB. Longqi officials are also very happy. They also save a lot of trouble, and use domestic currency settlement, proving that Liu Yi has no immigration, or other ideas, but also let them such state-owned enterprises, reduce political risks. The next day, Liu Yi and Mendes signed a brokerage contract and officially hired Mendes as a broker. Mendes's first thing is to fight for a new contract for Liu Yi, £8,000 a week, which is to fool Satan, which is unacceptable no matter what. Liu, it's not for my commission, or anything else, but the salary represents your status and weight in the hearts of management. Considering the hard salaries of other managers, Liu Yi nodded and agreed, and the agent played this role. Most of the players have gone to the national team to report. Only Marshall and Theses and Nemanja Matic, who do not have a national team game mission, are training at Carrington in the hope of improving their playing time. Before the coach died in a lineup, everyone could not get the opportunity, but now Liu is not. In the next few days, Liu Yi wandered around Manchester every day, and Kevin, a sports journalist he knew before, heard that Liu Yi needed a tour guide, took him around, and took the initiative to ask him to come. From time to time, there are fans greeting, or come up to take a group photo, and even some taxi does not need money, and there is no money for eating. Enjoyed 2 days of star-studded treatment, got acquainted with Manchester, and occasionally watched the game through the live broadcast to see his players and play in the national team. In the blink of an eye, it was 11.11, which was the famous online shopping festival in Dragon Country, and there was also a national team match against Oman in the evening. Before it was poor and there was no time, now there is money and there is nothing to do. Liu Yi directly bought a ticket to the United Arab Emirates, watched a national football match on the spot, hoping to have a good result. Dragon Country time 23:00 p.m., local time 19:00, World Cup Asian Qualifier Stage 2, Asian Top 12, the 4th round of Dragon Country against Oman, under the attention of countless fans, arrived on time.